In 1931, the Canadian chemist Richard Mongska first synthesized DMT in a laboratory setting, but no one experimented with its psychoactive effects for another quarter century. In 1955, Gordon Wasson, an amateur ethnomycologist from New York City, traveled to Oaxaca, Mexico to partake in a psilocybin mushroom ceremony with the indigenous Mazatecs. Wasson detailed his experiences in Life magazine in 1957 and helped bring psilocybin to popular attention. Around the same time, many in the scientific community began experimenting with DMT. Its psychoactive effects were first scientifically documented in a study by Hungarian psychiatrists in 1956 and published 2 years later. After 1961, scientists confirmed DMT's presence in the human brain, blood, and urine, with later studies finding DMT and 5-MeO-DMT elsewhere in the body. Research into psychoactive drugs flourished throughout the 1960s, with hundreds of scientific papers and several books published on the topic. Psychotherapists studied a number of compounds for their potential in relieving chronic mental disorders, and others took interest in their ability to invoke mystical and religious experiences. In the now famous Good Friday experiment at Boston University in 1962, Walter Punke gave 10 of 20 divinity students capsules containing psilocybin before having them listen to a Protestant church service over loudspeakers. Most of the volunteers who received the psilocybin reported having a more mystical experience than those who were given the active placebo. This boom in research came to a halt when the US government passed the Controlled Substances Act in 1970 and immediately prohibited all human trials for DMT and other Schedule I drugs. Many similar laws were passed in other countries, making it nearly impossible for scientists anywhere to even find, let alone study DMT. Still, black markets continued to fuel use around the world. The Harvard psychologist Timothy Leary, who had studied psilocybin in the lab when it was legal, famously experimented with a range of psychedelic drugs, including DMT, and advocated for them publicly. American brothers Terence and Dennis McKenna used DMT and other substances in the 1960s, and later wrote a book about psilocybin mushroom cultivation.